Yo, what up, YouTube? It's your boy Blingo back here with another video. Hope y'all all been living y'all truth. Now, listen, we're going to have to talk about the golden era of Nickelodeon, man. Video is by Antonio Speaks. And the name of the video is When Nickelodeon Was Black. I know this is not hip-hop, but it kind of is culture, you know? So it's kind of hip-hop culture. Now, this is when I was younger. This is what I saw. And this is the golden age of Nickelodeon to me, when all these shows was there. But let's see what my boy Antonio Speaks got to say about it. We're going to react to it, and y'all let me know what y'all think.
When Nickelodeon was black. Do y'all remember this era? From the early 90s up until about the mid 2000s, Nickelodeon was actually Nickelodeon. I'm talking about shows with fully black cast members.
All right. You ain't got to say that, man.
In full-on representation of black culture. Our music was highlighted, the swag was shown off, and you even had niche cultural references brought up in these shows. It's just so crazy to look back and see how different things are from today. We live in an era now where even the sight of a single black person gets the show labeled as woke, or that character being labeled a DEI hire. Just take a look at this screenshot. Even though it's a video game, this sums up how a lot of people feel about it.
Yo, don't do that, bro. God of War, don't do that, bro. Don't do that. Look at what people be doing, son. Some could, I don't know what he's trying to say, is modding God of War to remove all black people. Why would you want to do that, though? Why would you do that? Why? Why would you want to do that? And this is the problem. Like, this is the problem, bro. It's a problem. Let's continue.
They truly don't want to see us in no type of media. Anyway, Black Nickelodeon was all by design.
According to the New York Times, a 1989 Nielsen report, the company that does rating, found that blacks spend significantly more time watching television than non-blacks do. Starting in 1990, the networks decided to double down on that black audience. Think ABC with Family Matters, Hanging with Mr. Cooper, and NBC with The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The company that really went all in was Fox, which was founded only a few years earlier. Fox knew in order to be competitive with the big three, they had to dominate this market. So they picked up In Living Color, Martin, Living Single, then the WB would follow. This strategy lasted pretty much until the late 90s. Around that time, networks started seeing success in teen-based dramas. Think One Tree Hill, Gilmore Girls. Coupled with the reality show boom of the early 2000s and competition shows like American Idol, that rating show attracted a multiracial audience. So the networks went in a different direction, which is why we saw a decade-plus gap in the 2000s of little to no black shows.
So Nick's strategy was simple. Use black people in the culture to attract a broader audience and then pivot over time. I call it the...
Yep. That's crazy that they thought like that because, yo, that's what everybody do. He's the first person I thought of. I ain't gonna hold you. Post Malone was the first person I thought of soon as she said that. And they just showed the picture. And I never saw this video, y'all. I'm watching it with y'all right now. He was literally the first person I thought of. It's so crazy how people could come in. They could act a certain way. You know what I mean? They could act a certain way. Get put on. Everybody accepts them. And then they just go a different way. Like, he's a country singer now. He started as a hip hop guy. Got songs with 21 Savage and everything. Like, what the fuck, man?
Post Malone method. Now today we're gonna take a look back at some of these classic Nickelodeon shows and take a trip down memory lane. Now disclaimer, I am a 2001 baby, so a lot of these shows I may have fuzzy memory with. Mainly I probably caught these shows while watching reruns, and some I may not have even seen at all. Nonetheless, I still want to highlight these classics, and if you remember any of these shows, man, drop a comment down below. No more talking, let's hop into this video. Now, the first show I want to highlight in this video is All That. Releasing in 1994 and running all the way up until 2005, this is one of the highest rated Nickelodeon shows back in the 1990s. Now, the cast from season 1 wasn't all black, but it was very diverse. There was great representation, and black people made up the majority. The premise of this show was very...
Listen. If y'all haven't seen All That, go and watch it. That show was literally the bomb, son. That show was the bomb. I'm telling y'all. When I was a kid, that show was the bomb.
Very simple though. It was like Saturday Night Live,
Nah,
but for kids. There
yep.
were fast-paced comedy sketches with recurring characters and catchphrases. Now, the thing that really made this show stand out was the music element and how it highlighted, hip-hop, R&B, which is a huge part of the black culture. The intro song was an absolute classic, sang by the legendary group TLC. Now, towards the end of every episode and all that, there were guest musical performances, and I'll list off just a few that were featured on the show. Aaliyah, Brandy, Usher, Monica, 112, Destiny Child, The Brat, Nas, Outkast.
I didn't know Nas was there. He said Nas. Boy, better get it right. But I didn't know Nas was on there. That's crazy. Yo, what the freak did he perform on there though? That's what I need to know. What the freak? How am I the biggest Nas fan in the world and I didn't know that? That is crazy. I gotta look that up. Like, what did Nas perform on freaking all that?
Cube. I told y'all, man, it was Nickelodeon. Now, the next show I want to talk about is Kenan and Kel. Airing on Nickelodeon from 1996 to 2001, this series starred Kenan Thompson and Kel Mitchell from their previous show, All That. In this series, there are two best friends that get into all type of crazy adventures in Chicago. Like I stated, I was a 2001 baby, but from the reruns, Kel was always like the crazy one, energetic, sometimes dumb, and then Kenan was more chill and relaxed, but they meshed together perfectly. Just like All That, this show was heavily influenced on hip-hop. The introduction to the show was written and performed by the artist Coolio. And although, man, this show was well received, it even won favorite TV show at the 1998 Kids Choice Awards. Both Kel and Kenan Thompson are solidified in the culture. They even had some movies together, Good Burger and Good Burger 2. After the show ended, they both had success as well. Kel, not as much as Kenan, he has some rough parts, but overall, I love these brothers. Next up, we have
Kenan is actually on SNL right now. The crazy part is that he was on All That, which is like a SNL for kids. So it was only right that he went to SNL. You know what I'm saying? It was only right.
Cousin Skeeter. To be honest with y'all, I never watched this show, but after looking at the cast, like, I have to bring this show up. It was loaded. We got Robert Richard, Bill Bellamy, Megan Good, Rodnell Sheridan. All of these people we went on to see have, great or successful acting careers. Running from 1998 to 2001, this is a live-action sitcom blending traditional teen comedy with puppetry. What makes this show different, though, and I've seen a lot of people talk about, was how it represented a different type of black people, the black middle class. In this series, you will see stable family dynamics and teen social life that was rooted in community.
Yo, look at Megan Good when she was young, son. Yo, when I was a kid, right, and this show was out, Megan Good, me and my cousin used to like Megan Good. I was so mad when Megan Good started being like sexy. I was tight, son. I ain't gonna hold you. I was tight about that when she started being like just taking on sexier roles and stuff. I was like, Megan, like, don't do that. I don't want you doing this. Like, I want you to be the good girl. You know what I mean? You was a good girl, man. Dang.
This show is centers around Bobby Walker, whose life is disrupted by the arrival of his cousin Skeeter. But despite him being a puppet, he was a part of the family, y'all. He was still a real nigga. And to add the cherry on top, this show once again showed love to the culture. The theme song for Cousin Skeeter was performed by R&B group 702, and it's a whole vibe. Next up, we got Romeo. Airing from 2003 all the way to 2006, Romeo is a teen sitcom centered around Romeo Miller, son of Percy Miller, aka Master P, and he is also in this show as well. In this series, we see a confident and musically gifted middle schooler navigating friendship, school, and family life. This is another show that I'm not that too familiar with. I do know much about Romeo though, man. I know in the 2000s, him and Bow Wow had that whole little beef going on. I was young.
Yeah, but their beef was like weird. Like, people try to make it a beef, but it was like really nothing. Two kids. But the Romeo show, I didn't really watch it, but it was running for a while though. It had a couple seasons.
But I was still tapped in. I probably would have leaned more with Bow Wow though, bro. I don't know. Anyway, in this show, just like all the others, were heavily influenced by hip-hop. Romeo at that time was a rapper, so the show was just a mixture of his real life and, added on things. Now, this next show, I vividly remember it, okay? Just Jordan. Airing from 2007 to just 2008. This was one of the shortest shows.
I ain't watched this show, but honestly, Jordan, whatever, he had a lot of potential though. He had a lot of potential. I wish he was still around today, like really, like in the business, like in the. I wish, because he had a lot of potential.
On his list. This series follows Jordan James Lewis, a teenager who moves from Arkansas to LA with his mom and sister after his parents divorced. In the new city of LA, Jordan tries to fit in at school, deal with family dynamics, and navigate friendships and some crushes. Before we dive into more of the story, I want to talk about my boy Jordan first. Better known as Lil JJ, my boy was already clouded before this TV show. Now, Lil JJ first came into the spotlight when he won BET's Comedy Talent Search named Coming to the Stage.
Now I'm gonna cry again.
Yeah,
and I want y'all to say, what's wrong, JJ? All right, y'all got that? Kelly took my girlfriend.
This was the catalyst to his career, and after this, we started seeing him in a lot of notable films. He played as the character Willie in the movie Barbershop, Up in the movie Crossover, and a cast member on Nickelodeon's All That in its 10th season. Now, on Just Jordan, many of the plots center around his friends. Tony is a friend that I vividly remember. He was a Asian American. Throughout the show, we see them do all types of crazy things. Learning how to play karate, giving church performances, and even cosplaying as thugs to pull some girls, bro. Just dumb shit. Another one of his friends in the show is a girl named Tangi. She's also his cousin. Played by Raven Goodwin, we all notably know her from her Disney Channel show where she plays Ivy in Good Luck Charlie. But in Just Jordan, she basically acts the same way. Outspoken, very smart, and she has like this love-hate relationship with Jordan. The thing I don't like about her character though is how they have her chasing around Tony. She just makes jokes all the time trying to get towards him, and he never even pay her any mind. What you will notice is that a lot of these shows love to do that too.
Word. And a lot of shows, there's a character like that though. There's a girl who just loved the guy, and she's always following him and acting crazy about him. In a lot of shows, there is a character like that, especially back in the day.
People that society deems unattractive, okay? Tangi is a dark-skinned, bigger girl that maybe the cast members thought wasn't as attractive for Tony to even talk to. Y'all know I gotta get deep. That's just my thoughts. Now, another thing I want to bring up is the dynamic between Jordan's sister, Monica, aka Momo, and his grandfather. I love it. He spoils her and has a very hard time telling her no. From having tea parties together, playing chess, their bond is unbreakable. Unfortunately, in the show, we don't see Jordan's father, so it's great to see that the grandfather is like, you know, the father presence. I wouldn't say that this show feeds into stereotypes at all, because they tell you that the father was divorced. It wasn't like he was never in the picture. Jordan's mom in the show though, she is very overprotective. Everything she does is just purely out of love and trying to protect Jordan. Nothing that is crazy. She isn't stereotypical, she's not sassy. She drops gems all the time, and at first she may seem like she doesn't understand you or she goes against what Jordan wants to do, but eventually she gives in and understands his point of view. I vividly remember this one episode where Jordan, like, he snuck and got a grill. His mom told him to get rid of it, and then it ends up getting stuck and it made his grill stink. The storyline was very familiar to things I've seen in my real life. My older brother, I remember growing up, man, he used to do a lot of dumb stuff. He reminded me of Jordan. But I remember distinctly, like, he snuck and got a grill one day, and he didn't tell my parents. They didn't get too mad, but it was like, so I can literally just see my real life into that show, man. I can relate to it. Anyways, the show was amazing to me. I hate the fact that it was so short. It only had 29 episodes. This is all for a reason, though. Because of the 2007-2008 writer's strike, Just Jordan got cut. They were actually in the middle of producing and filming.
Oh, that's why. I didn't know they had a writer strikes back in 2007, 2008. See, but when Just Jordan came out, I was already kind of like getting older. You know what I mean? So I didn't really see the show. But I knew when he did the comic show, I knew about that. And I thought it was on Comic View, but it was on a different BET show. But yeah, I knew about him, but I didn't really watch. You know, I was getting older. I wasn't watching TV that much at that time. But it is crazy to see that they had a strike back then.
Season 3 when the show ended up getting cut. Now, this is what the studio says, but Jordan, the actual actor, had this to say in real life. In a Facebook post, Jordan stated the following: Just Jordan got canceled. I ain't giving up no ass. With everything that was happening behind the scenes at Nick with Dan Schneider and all this other stuff, it's hard not to believe this. Jordan ended up...
It's very hard to not to believe that. Everything that was happening is very hard to believe that. But I don't know. He could have just been joking. You know what I'm saying? But honestly, that's crazy though. That's crazy though. You know what? Yo, he could be telling the truth, y'all. I'm gonna keep it real. He could be telling the truth. He's a comedian, but he could be telling the truth, y'all.
Up having a great life anyway. He went to college, still starting some films here and now, and just by taking a look at his social media, he's living a happy and healthy life. What you will notice is that these really big, you know, child stars, once they get older, they've lost their minds, strung out on drugs. So I'm very happy that my boy was able to get out and, you know, be the bright person that we remember him as. Now, the final show I want to add to this list is True Jackson VP.
Oh, that show went crazy.
Remember this one.
That show went crazy when it came out. That show was going crazy. That's how, Keke Palmer still got mad crazy fans because of that show. She got like crazy fan, like she got a strong fan base because of that show, y'all. That show was like hot when it came out. I ain't gonna hold y'all. I was kind of getting older, but that show was hot when it came out.
Now, this isn't necessarily a black show, but the lead is a black woman and the cast is very diverse. Airing from 2008 to 2011, this series follows True Jackson, played by Keke Palmer, a confident and creative 15-year-old girl from Brooklyn who unexpectedly becomes the vice president of youth apparel at a major fashion company called Mad Style. Now, this show is a little fuzzy in my mind. I watched it and I'm very aware of it, but for some reason, I just can't remember a lot of the episodes. But with this show, you can truly see the direction that Nick was going. The cast wasn't as black as it was used to be. White people were becoming the majority. And this was because Nick numbers were now up. They didn't need black people anymore. So True Jackson VP was the last black show of my era that I can vividly remember. That's it for this video, man. I hope you guys enjoyed. Shout
out to my boy Antonio Speaks, man. He a young boy talking about the old school, 90s TV shows on Nickelodeon. But let me say something though. Let me talk to y'all for a minute. Actually, I'm going to ask y'all a question. Why do y'all think that for a lot of people to get hot, for a lot of people, a lot of things in media and all that to get hot, why do they like to take they take stuff from the like black people and the black culture, they bring it up, they bring it in, they get hot, and then they let it go? Like, why do they do that? Why you can't just keep it there? Why you can't just keep it there? Why you gotta like let it go after? Like, why do you do that? Like, I don't get it. Like, Post Malone came up with White Iverson, and he had another song with 21 Savage that was actually a good song. Then gets real hot, goes to country music and says hip hop is too easy or it's too, I don't know what he said. I don't know if he said it was easy or corny or something, but I don't think he said corny. He probably said hip hop is it's boring. I think he said it was boring. So he needed a challenge or something. But it's just crazy. Like, it's just crazy to me, I mean, maybe he really did come in and loved hip hop. And then after he did hip hop, he was making hits and hits and hits. And he said, it's just boring. I need a challenge. So let me go to country. But to me, it sounds like BS. You know what I'm saying? It sounds like BS, but why do that? Like, why? That's so crazy. And the crazy part is that it actually works. Like, it actually works. These, other cultures come in, they copy the black culture, they do stuff that black people do, and then they just get hot, and then they be out. They out. Like, it's like black people make them cool, and it makes them hot. So we obviously cool, but why do you let it go though? Like, why do you let it go? The coolness. Why do you let the coolness go? That's what I want to know. Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think about that, man, because that's deep to me. But shout out to Antonio Speaks, Nickelodeon. Them shows was hot, bro. Them shows was hot, y'all. Those shows was hot. But like, comment, subscribe. Guys, do me a favor. Hit that hype button. Hit that hype button, man. I'm trying to get the hypes up so I can get in the algorithm. See how I got a new camera? I want to get a new microphone. I want to get a new everything. We moving up. We making it big. 2026. I'm never giving up, never stopping. But I'll see you at the next video. Shop VeroClothing.net. Continue to live your truth. Don't be coming in acting like you somebody else, and then when you get hot, you leave. Don't do that. You live your truth, all right? I'll see you at the next video. Peace.